You know what I hate? That's right, the color blue. Jokes aside, I really don't like this box art. I don't know, it just looks extremely bland. You know, my absolute hate for Forces aside, it just looks really bland. It's got the 3D models, they all look really pissed off, and it's just, God, it reminds me of just a generic Marvel movie poster, and I don't like that. And it's a shame that most likely Frontiers will be getting the exact same treatment. So I'm taking a stand right now, before the Frontiers box art comes out, and I'm gonna make my own. Please note that this is just a fun little thing. I'm not saying that I'm fixing the Frontiers box art before it even comes out or anything like that. I just thought it'd be really fun because I haven't drawn Sonic in a long, very long time. And I kind of want to get back into it since I'm becoming full-time Sonic tuber. And I just thought this would be a very fun video. If you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, what would you do for a Frontiers box art and all that? Let me know. But anyways, let's not even dilly-dally. We're drawing the Frontiers box art in our own way because the box art isn't even out, but we're gonna do it in the adventure art style. Let's get to it. Now, to start up the video, I've never actually drawn Sonic in the art style of Sonic Adventure before, the Uekawa art style as it's commonly known. So I used references, heavy references. I also took a look at Chow Mix's drawing tutorial video, and that helped so much. I absolutely loved his tutorial. The link will be in the description if you ever want to draw your own. It's a really thorough, it's just a really good tutorial. I highly recommend it. But anyways, starting off with the sketch, I started the recording after I had already started the sketch, but it really doesn't matter anyway. I wanted to draw Sonic in this very, like, action-y, very dynamic pose, you know. The one I saw on Forces, the one that is on Forces, in my opinion, is just, it looks really stiff, and, you know, Sonic is a very cartoony, very noodly character, and I've been drawing X-Pool's character who follows those same principles for a very long time now. So, you know, I have a lot of fun drawing these kinds of noodly characters, and I love getting wacky with it. So that's eventually what I tried to do, and, you know, I wanted to draw Sonic doing some kind of peace sign or something like that, and then, you know, having his... I didn't want to do just, like, a basic running. That would have been the easiest thing to do, is just do Sonic running, but I really didn't want to do that. I felt like that was just a little too easy. I wanted to challenge myself, you know. The Uekawa art style as a whole is a challenge in of itself, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. You know, we start off with the very basic shapes, with the very basic outline of the character, and I also didn't want to copy Uekawa's style exactly to the T. So, you know, it's not going to be a one-to-one. I wanted to add, like, my own personal flair, my own personal touches to the sketch, and I think I did that quite well, until I realized that the pose I had drawn didn't really work. So I scribbled it out, and we started over. I kept the body, and I kept the head, though. I just thought the way the arms and the legs didn't work. It just didn't work. I didn't like how it looked for a little bit, but we eventually came to a mutual understanding, a very mutual ideal. But, you know, we get into it, because in the end, it definitely worked out in its favor. I definitely like the idea. I definitely like how it looks afterwards. We did this kind of, like, almost skidding pose for Sonic, like he's trying to stop, or like he's leaping out of something, you know? And I think it looked really good. Also, this was the very first time I had done anything remotely related to the hot dog shoes. You know, every time I draw Sonic, it's always the modern corporate style Sonic. But honestly, I really love the look of the hot dog shoes, the hot dog style Uekawa shoes. I love drawing them. There's a lot more room to work with the posing, and a lot more room to work on its style, and I just had a lot of fun with it, you know. I love drawing very I love drawing just very characters that are full of life, full of joy, and full of expression, full of style and attitude. I love it, and that's why I wanted to get back into Sonic drawings, because those characters are just perfect for those kinds of drawings. The biggest challenge of all was definitely the hands. I had no idea what I was gonna do for the hands. I genuinely had no clue. But you know, this is why we look up references. This is not cheating in any way or form, but you know, I think the hands came out really well. Like, I loved how the hands look. I tried to also give him that Uekawa flair, but I really enjoyed it. You know, it was definitely the most fun I've had drawing hands in a very, very long time. But it all just kind of like came together. You know what I'm saying? It just came together. It all flowed very nicely together. But eventually we did get the sketch all done. Of course I had to give Sonic his iconic smile, because him frowning is just not good. It does not look good in a box art. Sonic is always known for his iconic smile. So I obviously had to give it to him. You know, I don't think there's ever been a single Uekawa art that doesn't have Sonic smiling. I don't know what else to say for the sketch besides I had a lot of fun with it. But anyways, after the sketch, we of course continue on to the line art, which Uekawa has a very particular style of line art. There's a lot of narrow straightaways and really thick connecting edges. There's really no harsh edges in Uekawa's art style, which I find quite awesome. It's a really unique style of line art that I love a lot, and there's really isn't much to say other than, yeah, I'm just literally tracing over the thing again. I did make some slight adjustments to some gloves and some fingers and stuff like that. But then after the line art, of course, I went over the edges and I did all that. I did all the funny edges. I literally went over Chow Mix's tutorial. Go follow it. It's really good, and okay, I'm gonna be honest. It really enhances. The line art on its own, in my opinion, looked really good, but just those, like, extra thick edges and lines really made the whole figure of Sonic pop out a lot more and give it, like, a much more bold presence. And I really, really liked that. I thought it was really nice. It just kind of gave it a much bigger flair than it would have otherwise. After doing the line art, I went and grabbed an official piece of Uekawa art, and I just kind of copied down all of the base, the highlights, the super highlights on the colors, and all that stuff, and I made a little color palette just to use as a reference for, because I don't want to go on having like different colors. That'd just be weird in my opinion, because the colors used already are really, really nice. I love all the different hues and shades and stuff. And so yeah, we just kind of went in and colored everything base, which on its own already looked really nice. You know, in Photoshop we can do this little fill-in. This is like really the first time that I've ever organized my layers and my color layers like that. It was definitely a little different, a little bit of a challenge to manage everything, but I really liked it. I'm definitely gonna be using that more often as I go forward. And yeah, no, and then the shading was really interesting to me, because again, Uekawa's Sonic just has a really interesting shading style. There's highlights everywhere, which I don't typically highlight my characters. I always do, because I do Dragon Ball a lot, like a lot, like too much, a lot. I draw a lot of Gokus, but you know, before Super, there weren't really a lot of highlights. There was just shading and then harsher shading, and so it was a little bit to get used to. And even then, I just never do the I have my own style of shading and stuff like that. I never use the airbrush tools. I always like do the harsh shading, and then at the end of it, I merge all the color layers together, and I do a blending tool to like soften up those edges a bunch. and that always works out. But we're trying to go for authenticity here. We're definitely going for, you know, a real legit Uekawa look, sprinkled in with some of my own style, you know. But I didn't want to like put in too much of my style. I think there was enough like inaccuracy in the body, and then the way the body looks, you know. I think that has a little bit of my style in it. And I thought that was good enough, right? There was no more that really needed to be done. But yeah, no, the shading was just, it's definitely really fun to learn all of these different kinds of shading methods. Because then I had to clip the super highlights to the regular highlights, and then do all the shading stuff. And you know, as I was doing it, when it looked incomplete, I'm like, ew, this looks really weird. I don't know how I feel about this. I think it looks really, really wacky. But as more pieces, I guess you could say, started to fall into place, it definitely looked like Adventure Sonic, and I was starting to get I was starting to get very giddy, because, you know, I've never drawn in this style before, you know? I've never drawn I've drawn my own Sonics, and I drew a recent Sonic that looks way too much like my own style, because I hadn't drawn Sonic in forever, and this is my first time drawing Uekawa Sonic, Adventure Sonic, and, you know, again, you know, I'm like, ew, this is weird. But that kind of, like, went for everything else that I was trying to, like, shade in and stuff. Whenever I do Dragon Ball characters and the harsh shading, you know, I'd be like, ew, this is weird. But then when it all came together, it looked like an official piece, or to me, at least, it looked really, really good. And this is exactly how that turned out, you know. I absolutely love this style of drawing, and I'll definitely be doing it again. I will definitely be doing it again. It was so much fun. So much fun just to learn something new, and, you know, expands my artist's horizons, because the gloves were really interesting, too. I tried following Chalmix's tutorial some more, but I didn't know what he was talking about, so I just did it manually, and I thought I think it's a good enough replication. Like, it's not perfect in any way, but I also had no idea how to follow his part when I couldn't find any of those features in Photoshop. But, you know, so I literally just went in, shaded it, and did it manually, and I think it turned out really well. I think it turned out really, really nice, for a manual thing. But yeah, no, we just finished up the shading, turned it transparent to fix up some little mistakes here and there, fill in some extra colors, and yeah, that was about it for the shading. We now have a completed Sonic piece. Now for the actual, like, way more fun part. Now that we have our own fan-made Uekawa Sonic, we now get to go ahead and make the actual box art. There'll definitely be a timestamp that you can click on if you just want to see the box art get made. But I wanted to do a Switch version. I think a Switch version would make the most sense. I like the Switch box art. It's nice, it's narrow, it's very compact, and I love it. I just love the Switch box art. But here we go, you know. We started off with the I just went in and collected some Sonic backgrounds, some Sonic Frontiers backgrounds to use to make it, you know, at the very least look slightly official. We were just the whole, like, first half of this is just me screwing around with and seeing what I wanted to do. But as I was doing it, it hit me, you know, I can't remember what it was called, but there were, like, these official Sonic renders of him jumping out of rings with the whole Frontiers backgrounds and stuff in the I don't know what you'd call it, in the background of the ring, and I really, really liked how that looked, and I kind of wanted to do that same feel, to give it that you know, make it actually look like Sega could have done it. I really liked it. I really liked the look. It was something cool, you know, kind of like the big portal rings. And that's exactly what I did. I downloaded a transparent Sonic ring, put it into the editor, cropped out a mask, and then I played around with the background some more, you know, to make sure it would look appealing, you know, not just some random part that would look bad. Then after that, I started playing with them with some filters. some filters on the ring, some glows, some drop shadows, all that kind of stuff to make it look like an actual ring. There was a pretty big hiccup. I even tried considering changing the entire color of the ring at one point, and I just kept the regular ring and then did some shadows with it, and I thought it looked good. And then I took another Frontiers background, and I just kind of placed it in there. There was a little piece that can, like, sort of kind of follow the ring, and I thought that'd be kind of nice to help guide your eyes, you know, have like a point of a line to follow at the very least. And after that, you know, we got our glow, we got our ring, we got our background. It was time to put our Sonic in, and that's exactly what I did. I put him right in front of the ring, and it kind of hit me as I was doing it, but I thought the pose was absolutely perfect. Could have been a little better, but perfect for what we're trying to achieve at the very least. And I wanted to make him at least look like he was going fast, so I added some transparent little other copies of the same drawing behind him to look, you know, have that line trail, looks like he's jumping out of the ring super fast. And I couldn't find any actual cyberspace spin cycle type auras online, so that was another thing that I had to add on my own, which was definitely really fun. It was actually way more fun than I thought. I thought it would be like a boring, tedious thing that I wouldn't have any idea how to do. But I had a lot of fun with it. I added this bright blue glow to Sonic, and then, you know, there's really no tutorial for it or like, you know, guide that you follow. You just kind of go ham with it, and that's exactly what I did. I put some squares in, put some lighter purple squares, you know, moved it around a bunch, and then I did a bunch of manual blue lines, and oh man, I was feeling pretty good. I thought it looked great. I thought it looked official at the very least. You know, I was convinced at one point. But then again, this is my first time doing it, and I was just way too caught up in being proud with of my work. And then pretty much the final thing we needed to do was put in the logo, and I had a little bit of trouble with it. I had to use a bunch of it didn't look good at the top, and so I looked at a bunch of my other Switch games for references, and I noticed that most of the logos were on the bottom, and that's exactly what I did. I also put on a little stroke, a little black stroke, so it's a little easier to see for the logo. But yeah, I put it on the bottom. Sonic didn't look too good on the bottom. He looked way too far on the bottom, so I had to raise him up a little bit. I added a blur to the background to kind of like keep your focus on Sonic, the ring, and the logo. And after that, we're pretty done. We're just absolutely done. This is my official, unofficial fan-made render, fan-made box art mock-up of Sonic Frontiers. In all honesty, I had so much fun with this. I have never had this much fun drawing Sonic in the history of my entire life. I just had so much fun doing this. It was so fun to really get my creative juices flowing. This was definitely a departure from the discussions and reviews and stuff, but I thought it'd be a really fun video since Frontiers is definitely a hot topic right now. And I as an artist, this definitely expanded my horizons. This definitely gave me a proper challenge that I've been waiting for a very long time. For a while, I just either hadn't been drawing or been drawing stuff really safe. And this took me out of my comfort zone, and I'm very grateful for it. And for a very first time, I think it turned out amazing. I just am so proud of it. I hope you guys like what you saw. The actual box art is up on my Twitter, link in the description. You guys can take a look at it, download it for your own use. Make sure you credit me at the very least. There will be a watermark on there, of course. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Do you guys I'm gonna ask that. I really hope to do more art stuff in the future, because this definitely is another mixture of Sonic stuff and stuff that I actually like doing, and I'm just loving it. This was just a really fun video. I haven't been this excited to finish a video in a very long time. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. stay fresh.
Long as the voice inside drives